Now that was a big moment for Seshko, for Carrick and for United's season. Last minute winners, not sure there's a greater feeling. And Seshko got it in front of the Stretford End. I am made up for him. Now let's talk through the game because there were some key takeaways for Carrick and for United's push towards the Champions League spots for next season. We're on the march. I think it's fair to say that we've all enjoyed watching United in these last 3 games. Carrick's first 3 games, Carrick's first 3 wins, United with 9 points. It's fair to say that we have got momentum right now, and nobody could have possibly expected this after that feeling only a few weeks ago. I'm going to run through what we learned watching that game against Fulham, and we did learn plenty more. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. But Carrick's start has been nothing short of special. You can't describe it as anything else. To do what he did against City took us all by surprise. To follow it up, to back it up with that performance against Arsenal, and to score the winner after conceding a late equaliser, arguably even more impressive, or just as impressive. And that game against Fulham, I wouldn't say it was the best of the 3 performances, but again, conceded late, but scored the winner. And all 3 of them just special. That's all it is. Sometimes, when you just see these things at United, you end up pointing at it and you're like, that's it. That's United. That feels like United because it has felt like United. Now, Carrick, he's not getting carried away. We as fans, we probably always will get carried away. We get more emotional. That's why we're fans. That's why we're not head coaches of football clubs. We don't have to sort of stay level-headed and stuff like that. Carrick, he is. And he knows how amazing this start has been. But straight after the game, yeah, we could have played better. And I think we could have played better against Fulham. I think we left a little bit too much space between the defence and the midfield. Sometimes that Fulham got that space through. I think they had quite a lot of joy out on the wings. A lot of good box defending again. I don't think Fulham had too many clear-cut opportunities from open play. It took a penalty, and obviously that worldie from Kevin. But United can be better than that. But despite that, we got another result. And that in itself was a big, big moment. And speaking of big moments, that was it for Seshko. I'm absolutely buzzing for him on a personal level. Cunha had his moment against Arsenal. And Bruno's had plenty of moments like that this season. Anfield, and City, and Arsenal. He just loves bloody scoring. But Seshko, that was his moment. It wasn't as if it was the first goal he'd scored. Remember, he scored 3 in 2 matches prior to that, before he got left out of the team. And that's what I really want to focus on here. From Seshko, the celebration was class, the goal was class. But I think it's the mentality of Seshko that we learned quite a bit about. Despite the fact that he was dropped, he wasn't head down, angry, frustrated, wanting to. Of course, he wanted to come on, but he was doing extra training sessions. That's something that Carrick's revealed. He was doing those with Travis Binion, one-on-one sessions. And he came off the bench there, and he scored the winner. And it was a great goal, by the way. It really was. The turn, the finish without looking really at where it was going. He just knew exactly where he wanted it to go. And for Seshko, that hopefully will be a sort of, I'm not going to say a transformative moment because I don't think he's been having, I think people have been going overboard. Like Gary Neville keeps going on about how he's had such a hard and difficult time so far. I just don't think it's been as free-flowing as Cunha and Mbeumo, but it was never going to be because he's a 22-year-old coming from the Bundesliga. He's not an established Premier League experienced player. I think he's had a fine start at United, but that was his moment, and hopefully he can use that to kick on even further. I'm not going to say he's going to use it as a springboard because, as I said, he's not been playing poorly at all. But it's a big moment for him. And it was a big performance from Casemiro. And he really is just turning back the clocks. We are seeing the best version of Casemiro since that first season in a Manchester United shirt. You could argue that performance there against Fulham was one of his best in a United shirt. That no-look pass was filth. But overall, just the entire game, he was kind of taking the piss out of Fulham. Like the way that he was spraying passes, the way that he was trying to control that game of football. Casemiro, look, Jamie Carragher, that quote will stick with him, as it should. Because he's tried to be clever, and it's completely come back to bite him. I still feel it's the right thing for Manchester United for United and Casemiro to be parting ways in the summer, and we already know that. But if these last 3 games under Carrick are anything to go by, then we are going to get a hell of a send-off from Casemiro. He wants to be the best version of himself for Brazil at the World Cup, and that means being the best version of himself in these last 3-4 months as a United player, because he has been absolutely spectacular in these last 3 games. 2 man of the matches in his first 3 appearances under Carrick. And in that system, it was a little bit more open against Fulham compared to what it was against Arsenal and City. I actually think we kind of pressed a little bit differently too. There was a little bit more space. Sometimes the midfield kind of got play behind, and Kobe and Casemiro had a lot of space to cover. But Kobe has been equally as impressive in these first 3 games. It's just, we're seeing a midfield partnership here. That's what it feels like. Lots of just good teamwork, working together, different. Kobe and Casemiro were both spraying like 30, 40-yard passes in that game. And I know it's Casemiro who took the headlines and took Man of the Match award, but Kobe also played brilliantly too. It's just good to see United's midfield actually play like they are. And look, Bruno might not be a central midfielder in this setup now, and that's a bloody good thing because we're seeing... Look, Bruno is... Amrin made just a big old mistake with that. United made a little bit of a mistake in a strategy in that sense because Bruno should never have been dropped into a central midfield position in the long term. Maybe if you need to because of an injury or a game or here or there or a moment, fine. But play your best player in their best position. Play one of the world's best number 10s in the number 10 position, and he's going to get you 2 assists. And I don't even think that Bruno was the best midfielder on the pitch that game, but he still came up with the 2 moments that ultimately changed the game. The cross for Casemiro's goal and the dummy, the cross for Seshko's winner, was absolutely world-class. And to do that in the last minute, in the 90th minute, is just amazing from him. Look, Bruno Fernandes leads the charts. He is the architect. He is the heartbeat of this football team. And I really want him on a personal level to get this record. So there's 14 games left. And Bruno needs 9 assists in those last 14 games to record the highest ever number of assists in a single Premier League season. He's currently sat on 12. I think he'll get it. I really hope he gets it. And the way that he's been playing, again, Casemiro coming in, since Carrick's coming in and Kobe's gone into midfield and Casemiro and Kobe look better. Maguire and Martinez at the centre-back partnership. Bruno in the number 10. Players that before maybe weren't looking as good are now just looking significantly better because you're playing your best players in their right positions and you're platforming them. And the system is platforming them. The system that Carrick has brought in is enabling these players to do that. And I just hope they keep it up. That's kind of all I can ask for. It's all you can ask for. Look, we're 4th now. We're 6 points off 2nd. Why can't we win the next game against Spurs? Why can't we win our next 3 games against Spurs, West Ham and Everton? We should be favourites going into these games. We are favourites going into that Spurs game. We have proven Carrick has proven everybody wrong in those first 2 games against Arsenal and City. And we delivered in a game we were expected to against Fulham. Now, it was a tough game still, but we were expected to win. Now it's up to Carrick to try and go 1 game at a time, as he said. I covered it earlier. It's up to these players to keep this sort of momentum and this excitement. You can enjoy being a United player. It's possible. These players are experiencing it. These players are feeling it, and all of us are feeling it in these last 3 games. Spurs up next. I hope we can do the damage against them as well. Make it 4 from 4. Go to West Ham. Go to Everton. Make it 6 from 6. Why not? Seriously. Why not?